Is Rachel Jones coming? Rachel Jones coming?
Excellent. Jeremy, how are you?
All right. If we would, board, when we get going tonight, speak into the mic. That way they can hear us. But at this time, the April 20th regular board meeting is now in order. And if we can, stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the media has been notified, and they're here. And at this time, Dr. Gocher, can we recognize the April Employees of the Month?
Absolutely, sir. Ms. Hope Staten is going to introduce Junior High Employee of the Month. So, Ms. Hope, if you'll come forward with Mr. Joe Sikowski.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. We at the junior high are super excited to nominate Mr. Sikowski for Employee of the Month. And this was actually the nomination that I wrote. And so I was really, really excited when all of the staff, agreed with me that he was such a rock star employee. But I just wrote, I would like to nominate Joe Sikowski for Employee of the Month. As this has been my first year in the building at RJHS, he has gone out of his way time and time again to show me the ropes. In addition to being excellent working with students, he is amazing with other adults too. He never makes you feel rushed, even when he has a ton of things to work on. He always takes time to help in any way that is needed, and to me, that's a rock star employee. He is not only dedicated to his work, but he also wants to help others be successful in their practice. I honestly couldn't imagine this year without this great guy. In closing, he has been an outstanding coworker and has turned into a friend. RJHS is so lucky to have him. Joe Sikowski.
Congratulations, Mr. Sikowski. Coming up next is Mr. Harpinaugh as he honors Mr. Josh McIntyre. And Mr. McIntyre is not here, thank you. And Ms. Laura Bentz, would you come forward as you honor Ms. Abby Elam?
All right, I am happy to introduce Miss Abby Elam to you. She is a first grade teacher at Dwight, and she is only a second-year teacher. But if you came into this classroom, you would be totally amazed. She is already a master teacher. She has such good classroom management and procedures. Her students, she can step out of the classroom and her students carry on without her. She says one word, they get up and they do whatever they're supposed to do. They look up to Miss Elam, they admire Miss Elam our staff does too. When they have things to say about her, they talk about how positive she is, what a great role model for the students, and how she is always willing to help out. At the beginning of this year, when we had all the COVID unknowns and how do we do this thing called virtual learning, she was one of our leaders in that. She did a lot of PD on her own, and she led kindergarten and first grade with the Seesaw platform and did an amazing job with that. If you are ever sad in the morning, having a hard time getting up, getting going, I invite you to come to Dwight and sit in her classroom. She has this morning routine that she does with her kids. If you've ever watched The Help, you know when she tells the little girl, you are important, you are smart. Abby does that with her kids. And it doesn't matter how many times I sit through her class and just go through that routine with them, my heart just gets light and I leave with a smile on my face. So you are all invited to come to her classroom at any time you want. Miss Elam, we love you and we are so very fortunate to have you at Dwight. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Miss Elam. Miss Malin, if you'll come forward, you honor Miss Jason.
So the London Elementary Employee of the Month is Miss J.C. Livermore. J.C. serves a dual role at London Elementary. She's our librarian, and she's also one of our interventionists. She instills a love for reading in all students and exemplifies our mission statement of ensuring that all students reach high levels of achievement no matter what. J.C. is a difference maker for our students who have characteristics of dyslexia. It's not uncommon to see these students with a book in their hand, excited to read. The strategies that she is teaching them are closing the gaps and helping all students become successful readers. Here's why her colleagues selected her as Employee of the Month. JC always offers a kind smile and is a joyful and helpful presence in our school. The kids love and trust her, and she is a great person to talk to, as well as a person who will always help you in a time of need. JC goes out of her way to help teachers and staff members. She is always ready to help solve a problem or come up with a plan to help a student succeed. We are so thankful and blessed to have Ms. Livermore as a member of our Tiger family.
Congratulations, Miss Livermore. Next, I want to introduce Miss Sherry Shirley as she honors Miss Liz Mullins.
Book, I've got a couple of texts, whether they can, I can't remember the YouTube. They couldn't find it. I guess if you could post the YouTube link, that way they can get it. I've heard from a couple.
Okay, so back in January, I went to Liz and Mr. Beatty, and I said, hey, an Oakland tradition has always been book bingo, but we can't get together this year. So I want you to do it virtually. And after Liz picked herself up off the floor, she got busy, and she figured out a way to do book bingo virtually with our students. And then the snow hit, and so our schedule went out the window, and we rescheduled. And so our first night was with third and fourth graders, and we had about 35 third and fourth graders online in a Zoom successfully playing book bingo. We applauded ourselves and said, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did this. And then we did it with kindergarten through second graders. 5-year-olds on a Zoom playing bingo. Now, can you picture that? It was amazing. Those kids played their hearts out. We finally had to tell them that we had to quit because between their parents and those kids, they absolutely ate it up. When I started that conversation with Liz, I had no idea how we could possibly do it, but her ingenuity and her determination, we successfully created book bingo for all of our kids this year. This is Liz's last year. She leaves us with a mountainous amount of information about dyslexia. She leaves Oakland as my parent involvement coordinator. She leaves as an advocate for teachers in the national board process. We are losing a huge asset in our district, but she's not going out without a bang because she keeps taking on tasks and keeps working to accomplish things that I never dreamed we could do. So I'm honoring her tonight, not only because she's such a great asset to the rest of the school district, but because she took on a huge project in the last 3 or 4 months that I didn't know if we could even do, and she made it happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, Liz Mullins.
Congratulations, Ms. Mullins. Ms. Jackson, I don't see Ms. Madison.
No, she was unable to make it, but I know that she's tuning in.
You
so
still, okay.
I want to say
Wonderful.
something about her.
Yes, please.
Nancy Madison is our Crawford Employee of the Month. She is our instructional facilitator, and she does so much more than coach teachers. She really does a lot of our behind-the-scenes work, and a lot of things that you don't see out in the open. She's behind the scenes working, and we definitely would not be able to do the awesome things that we do at Crawford without her. I make it a point to surround myself with people that make me better, and she definitely has done that. She makes me a better leader. She has helped me grow by teaching me all things elementary, and I appreciate everything that she does for our staff, for me, and for our students and families at Crawford. So Nancy Madison, our Crawford Employee of the Month.
And Ms. Chandler read my mind. Come on up, Ms. Chandler, as you honor Ms. Leslie Housley.
Yes, I'm sorry, but I'm going to read to you because I want you to know what Leslie's colleagues have said about her, and you'll clearly understand why she was selected as our Employee of the Month. Leslie is a great colleague. She's a team player. Leslie believes in helping each other and working together to accomplish the bigger task. Leslie is task-oriented and sets goals to accomplish those tasks. She reminds us to do one thing at a time and not be overwhelmed. As an educator, she tries to meet the needs of each student. She is excellent at building relationships with her students. Leslie likes to have fun, and it shows in her teaching. She doesn't mind dressing up, singing a jingle, or making fun activities or props to help make connections for her students. Most importantly, Leslie is a very caring, loving, and spiritual colleague. She strives to reach out to her colleagues, offering an ear to listen, a hug, or a pat on the back, a possible solution to a problem, or even just to offer a prayer as needed. It's also been stated that Leslie is just a pleasure to work with. She's kind and supportive, honest, strong. It just goes on. She's so supportive of other teachers, and everyone gleans from the experience that Leslie has had and that she's willing to share and offer. She's truly a definition of the type of person that we want in our schools. She goes above and beyond. Again, she makes learning fun. And I think this is great. She's one of those people that you're happy to see coming, whether you're a colleague or a student. We love you and we appreciate you, and you're very deserving to be our Employee of the Month.
Thank you, Ms. Chandler. Next, Ms. Barbara McShane will come forward and honor her Employee of the Month, Ms. Shonda Johnson.
I'm going to follow Ms. Chandler and read some of the amazing things that staff shared in their nominations of Ms. Shonda Johnson, who is an instructional facilitator and also interventionist at Sequoia. Mrs. Johnson is one of the most selfless people I know. She is always giving time, talents, and energy to support and help staff. She particularly has a passion for supporting novice teachers. She spends many hours looking for resources and ideas to help teachers in the classroom. She loves to celebrate the success of others. And I think this must have been from one of those novice teachers, because one staff member said, Shonda came into my classroom every day this week to model reading lessons for me. I know that she is very busy with other tasks, but she has taken the time out of her busy schedule just to help and assist me. Not only did she model lessons, she also took time out of her day to reflect and discuss with me. I'm so thankful for her dedication and assistance. Shonda is also very reflective. She is skilled at thinking about current practices and considering implications for teaching and learning. It is this continuous desire for improvement that has made her such a fantastic classroom teacher and now a successful instructional facilitator. She takes initiative. Whenever a need arises, Shonda's there without ever being asked. She is always looking for opportunities to lend a hand. She has a heart for the most struggling learners that we have at Sequoia. She knows every student in Tier 2 and Tier 3 intervention. She knows their strengths and weaknesses. She monitors their progress and ensures all students receive the supports they need and deserve. Shonda's also always going above and beyond in order to ensure the success of every student at every level and teacher. She cheerfully assists with questions and is quick to find answers. She is prompt in responding to emails and giving her undivided attention while listening to teachers and their concerns. She is encouraging and helpful with all of us in how to figure things out and gives of her own time and effort to help us grow and succeed. She does a great job facilitating team meetings, remaining positive at all times, directing the learning environment, and of course, providing some chocolate, which I have visited her almost on a daily basis this year, and she's always like, there's the Almond Joy. I only have one more. So, Shonda, it is an honor to recognize you as our Employee of the Month this month. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Johnson. And lastly, we want to invite Ms. Kathy Cook to come to the microphone as she honors her entire social studies team of Ms. Cleo Clark, Nathan Bain, Steve Heaton, and Ms. Kay Dickey. Ms. Cook, you always bring a team, don't you?
Well, good evening. Tonight we would like to recognize the RIS Social Studies team, and the team is comprised of Nathan Bain, Cleo Clark, Kay Dickey, and Steve Heaton. Social studies can be a challenging content area to teach because it requires teachers to engage students in things that happened a long time ago. And sometimes fifth graders aren't concerned about what happened in the distant past, but knowing our history and how we became a nation is important. And this group of teachers meets each week to plan lessons that will teach our students important events that help to shape our nation. From Native Americans to colonists, to the battles of the American Revolution and to how our government was formed. Our social studies team takes pride in creating lessons that provide a solid background of knowledge for our future citizens and leaders. These teachers are passionate about their content area. They work together to bring history to life for our fifth graders. So please join me in honoring them tonight, the RIS Employees of the Month for April.
Thank you, Mr. Cloud. That concludes our Employees of the Month.
All right, good deal. At this time, can I approve or ask for a motion to approve adding addenda items to the agenda?
So move.
Okay, Mr. White. Second. Mr. Golden, thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Okay, unanimous. Is there anybody here wishing to address the board on an agenda item this evening? Anyone? Okay. Mr. Hodge, are you here to address us? Okay.
Yes, I just want to give you a quick little update on the April 7th PPC meeting. We discussed topics related to 5 policies. The first thing that we discussed was Dr. Gocher shared with us the administrative staff's ideas for salary changes for next school year, as well as the Finance Committee's recommendations for changes for next school year. And we just wanted to say that we are both appreciative and supportive of the pay increases that are on the agenda for tonight. So that's the first thing. We didn't really vote on anything. It was just kind of a discussion. Secondly, we talked about 3 policies where we did vote on some things. So we talked about policy 3.4 about licensed personnel reduction in force. We reviewed some proposed policy changes and decided that we would like the policy to remain left in its current form. And I believe we've sent this stuff back to the board policy committee, and the appropriate ones have been added to the agenda for tonight. So that wasn't added to the agenda for tonight, and so we're appreciative of that. Secondly, we discussed policy 344, licensed personnel, workplace injuries, and workers' compensation. We did review that amendment, and we supported the proposed changes on that one, and it's on the agenda for tonight. And then the third one was policy 345, licensed personnel, social networking, and ethics. We reviewed that policy, the proposed changes, and voted that we would like for it to be left in its current form as well. And I didn't see it on the agenda for tonight, so again, we're very appreciative of that. Lastly, we did have policy 3.9, the sick leave bank, brought up. Some people had some questions, and we're reaching out to district administration for some answers to those questions. So that's the current standing in the PPC right now. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Hearing none. All right, thank you, Mr. Hodge. Dr. Gocher, I believe you're next.
Yes, sir. This time I want to give my monthly superintendent report as it's moving up there. There we go. Currently, there are 5,099 students enrolled in RSD. That is a bit of a decline from last report. We've seen a little bit of an increase in our numbers regarding COVID-19. Currently, 74 students and staff are quarantined, with 13 active positive cases between students, staff and students. And lastly, I want to recognize Miss Siobhan Jackson. Oops, we jumped ahead. Miss Jackson, would you just stand up? I don't want to embarrass you anymore. But Miss Jackson recently completed her Master Principal Phase 3, and I had the honor of attending the Rockefeller Institute as she was honored among many of her colleagues for this very long process. And Ms. Jackson, we continue to just be very proud of you for your Blue Ribbon accomplishment, the Terrell H. Bell accomplishment. Thanks for continuing to be a rock star in our school district. We are proud of you and your leadership, and would everyone join me in honoring Ms. Jackson for this wonderful accomplishment. And that is it, Mr. Cloud, for superintendent report for this month.
Okay. Do we have anything that needs to be pulled from consent? Okay, Morgan. Okay, Morgan is pulling 9 and 10, so we will pull that. Anything else? Anything? Okay, 1 through 8, 11 through 17 will be considered approved. So 9 and 10 has been pulled. Mr. Barrett, you want to discuss?
Yeah, I just want to cover that briefly.
Awesome.
I received a few questions. We did meet and discuss this. Jason and I and the superintendent and the assistant superintendent, and kicked several numbers around. But something that's come up is the governor's, the bill that passed, and I guess I can let Dr. Kocher explain that, but that does not impact us. We don't receive any of that money. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone's aware that that is not where these funds are coming from. Is that correct?
That is correct. As I understand that we did not qualify for that enhanced salary package. Is that what you understand too, Mr. Robertson? Okay. So it does not impact us. Our salaries were high enough that we did not qualify for any excess or any money from the Department of Ed.
And where does this place us as far as salaries in the area and other schools our size?
I believe that places us number 1 in Polk County. I don't remember the comparison. Do you, Mr. Robertson?
It would be the highest in the surrounding area.
Okay. Putting us at 40,000 the 1450 would bring us to 40,000 to the base, and the 3.8%, of course, there's multiple classified salary positions, but that would put the licensed staff at the highest in the area. To my knowledge, unless I am mistaken with something, I know that Pottsville's going to be doing an agenda item tonight adding to some COVID relief money, but I think that's a one-time stipend, if I'm not mistaken.
And there was some discussion about how this might impact bonuses. Can you kind of go into that detail?
Absolutely. Every year we consider a bonus for our licensed and classified staff. And so while we never know exactly what that number is going to be, we always prepare for that. But the discussion at the Finance Committee meeting is we felt, or you guys felt, that it was important to add to the base, and then as the numbers and as our assessment and our property tax continues to come in, we'll know more of what we can do for our annual Christmas bonus. But it could impact it, to your point. It could impact the number that we traditionally give for our Christmas bonuses.
Yeah, but we're fairly conservative on our numbers, but we expect a growth in assessment, and I think the discussion surrounded around let's be a little bit more aggressive because these numbers were bumped up in our meeting from our original discussions. So I just wanted to get this out there for discussion for the full board. I know Jason and I attended that meeting, but I just wanted to get that out there and get that information out there without it just being passed through on consent without a little bit of discussion.
Sure. Mr. Robertson, any comment on the assessment? I know that was asked by Mr. Barrett.
Well, he's actually the expert when it comes to their committee, I mean, in the assessment, but we had a good jump this past year for this calendar year, so we still got a lot of things going on in Russellville, and so we expect, good numbers, hopefully in the near future, so everything's looking good.
Good.
We good?
Yes, sir.
Wait, I need to entertain a motion to approve 9 and 10 that we pulled.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Barrett to approve 9 and 10. Is there a second by Mr. Keister? So those will be approved as a package. Ms. Renee? And any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, thank you, board. The salary increases were unanimous. All right, number 9, Mr. Golden.
Thank you, President Cloud. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Period 9 financial report as reported on by Justin Robertson at the 6:30 committee meetings earlier today.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Keister, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Right, we're unanimous. Ms. Wynn?
I would like to recommend the passage of policy 3.6, policy 3.44, policy 8.30R, and policy 8.36R. And we discussed these at our meeting prior to the start of this meeting, and also I discussed it at a meeting yesterday. So I would recommend that we pass these.
Okay, so Ms. Wynn makes a motion that we recommend that we pass those. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. White. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, we are unanimous. And Mr. Carter, you got an update? We got stuff.
No, just once again, building and grounds, we've been really looking at the maintenance of our buildings and improvements that need areas that we need to improve. So we continue to strive for that, making sure that we're keeping our buildings as up to date as we possibly can.
Okay, thank you. So we're under other. Can I entertain a motion to approve 1 through 6 or individually?
Motion to approve 1 through 6 under number 12.
Okay, is that a motion by Mr. Golden? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Carter. Okay, all those in favor? We'll get to that next. This was a motion for 1 through 6. All those, yep, all those in favor? Okay. We unanimous? Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. White, we're at number 7, I'm sorry. It's your floor.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes you think of some things that might benefit the board, and I've been thinking about consideration, and I know I personally could use some updates on training in the area of conducting executive sessions, particularly the process and guidelines. Like I say, I have a need. I'm hoping others might join me in considering that. My first training was a new school board. It was not very lengthy. I don't know about y'all, but it's been some time since I've had that training, and I think probably in visiting with different board members, I think we may have some difference of the interpretation of the specific guidelines of that particular mandate. So I'm just proposing that we consider having a training. I believe we could benefit from some clarifications in this area. I think it's important that we are on the same page. The reason I feel like it's important is, number one, just we are a board that wants to do the right thing. And I think that's good for public trust. We want the public to trust our board. Also, of course, we certainly want to adhere to the Freedom of Information Act in that area. And just lastly, for our own protection, I think we need to do this to protect our board. There are several entities that can provide this. We know that ASBA can do it. I have attended some training from the Beckett law firm in Little Rock. They do a lot of the training for AIEA, ASBA. There are several others, and I'm sure that Dr. Gocher could find someone could do this for us. And I think it would be good if we all could hear the same thing. I don't see Zoom as being the best way for this training. Maybe something for summer retreat. But again, I'm just presenting this as a possible training for future and feel like it could benefit our school board.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone?
I'll add to it.
Mr. Carter?
I like the idea just of a training just for the simple fact procedurally, I think, we're always looking at ways to, one, be efficient in our procedures, and two, be productive in them. I think this would really help with us being more efficient and more productive.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, thank you all. Comments? Okay, on number 8, the classified group grievances agreed to a alternate date of a week from tonight, and we will set that time. Number 9 was settled last night, so that'll be pulled. And then number 10, the party has agreed on an alternate date, but we have not set that date yet. So I'll give you all an update on that. And so we are at item 13. Can I entertain a motion? Okay. Mr. Golden.
Sorry, I need to recuse myself. Yeah, I do need to recuse myself.
second the motion.
Okay.
Who made the motion? I didn't hear.
Mr. Barrett?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Mr. Barrett made the motion, second by Mr. Keister?
Carter.
Mr. Carter, I'm sorry. Any discussion? We're approving 1, 2, and 3. Okay, no discussion. All those in favor? Okay, thank you. Approved. Coach Holt, can you get Jason real quick? Mr. Golden. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Can I entertain a motion?
Entertain a motion to go into executive session to talk about the employment of the superintendent.
Second.
Having a motion and a second to go into executive session to discuss the employment of the superintendent. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Was that Ms. Wynn? 4. Golden? 4. Mr. White? Abstain. Mr. Carter?
Abstain.
Mr. Barrett? Mr. Keister? So that's 5-4 to abstain. Okay. At this time, we will enter executive session. And we will go back to the back room. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Keister made the motion.